Greetings, humanity, and welcome once more to Channel Otherdoc. I am Jim. I use he/him pronouns, and this is Las Vegas. This is a surreal game by James Wallis about vice, violence, fortune, and misfortune. We're going to go around, and we're continuing with Act 3 of this strange tale, where we are at this point, and we're going to go around and say hi to all of our players, find out who we are and who we're playing and all that, and then we will hand things off to our dealer for this act. I am playing Stan, who is has been driven almost beyond the bounds of reason at this point, but is someone who knows a little bit about. As he's remembering things from his life, little things about how to heal people and how to take care of animals and how to hide from people and how to defend himself, things of that nature.
And bartending.
And bartending, the most important skill, bartending. That's really what I should lead with, but I keep forgetting. That is self-defense bartending. That's basically what he does. But has a bit of a... And we found out a thing last time that I can't say what it is because actually not everyone found out what it was. But the audience did. And so we'll leave that as an Easter egg for anyone who wants to go back and look at last week's video. But in the meantime, let's go around and let us say hi to Katie. Hello.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm playing Aaron, and there's not much to say. She's just ready to figure out what the hell is really going on and get this over with. And I use she, her pronouns, and so does Aaron.
Awesome. And now over to Darcy. Hello.
Hi, I'm Darcy. I'm playing Sorana, and she, like I'll say every year, is our resident badass, but also very awkward. So yeah, that's fun.
Hooray for awkward badasses. Excellent.
Rise up.
And now we shall toss things over to our dealer, James. Hello.
Hey, I'm James, or Jimbo to my friends. My persona is Archie, who knows how to drive real well and knows how to figure out if people are lying, and is not a very nice person. But for this week, Archie's kind of in the back seat because I am the dealer for this week.
Okay, cool. Well, that's... do you want me to do the... I guess, I'll do the thing. Like we do with most games on this channel, we use the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it, or put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know if we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it if we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think maybe that might have been a little too much. Then someone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. And was there anything else you wanted to go over, or are we going to get going?
Any questions from last session? Anything?
I guess we could do our little recap of where we are at, which is
oh dear, memory. Yeah.
Well, the recap I can give you is that last session you got to meet Aaron's dad.
Oh, that's right.
And
oh god, that's
We
right.
found out that he is a Picadon.
And you got to meet Mr. Presley, who baptized you all. And during the baptism, you each had some pretty vivid flashbacks. And after the baptism, you seem to feel more strong, more powerful. And you realize that you were giving off an aura as if you were a local, not a visitor. You broke into the counting house of one of the casinos, and found out that there's a man who also works for the Hermit, who is supposed to provide a distraction when you come out the way you came in, assuming that's how you come out. And then you got to see where chips are processed
Yeah.
with gas mask and earplugs so you didn't hear the screaming of souls. And while trying to figure out how you were going to get yourself, at least 1 million in currency so that at least one of you could get to the high stakes game that may get you out of here, you encountered some horrible things. You snuck away from some horrible things. And then you saw it, suspended from chains 50 feet high. What looks like, well, to anyone else it would look like a trailer. But to each of you it looked a little different.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we pick up from here.
Yep.
So, you can still hear the screams. I mean, even with the earplugs, you can't fully block them out. And thankfully, the gas masks cut off most of the brimstone stench down here and make it so you can breathe. You're in your dark suits. You've passed yourself off as the locals who work here, as opposed to the horrible, ragged tourist slaves that are down here, one of whom begged you for help and then accidentally got killed horribly. And you're standing here in the back of some of the machines that seem to create from melted down chips or melted down souls the things that are built in Vegas.
I think Erin looks up at this thing that's being held up, and she just sort of raises an eyebrow, and she's like, first my father and now my house. Why is that my house?
Wait, your house? Can I assume you did not live in a bar?
No.
Really? Okay, yeah, because that looks like my bar.
Well, it definitely doesn't look like a bar to me, and I definitely don't think it's your house, Erin.
What's it look like to you?
Just a house, a regular house, no meaning it to me, just a house. The house with a roof and such.
Archie grumbles something about you being a really bad liar.
Deception.
I have the deception skill.
No.
What else is in this area? We're just behind some machinery.
You're behind some enormous machinery. You can see that, there are walkways and such going around to different areas of this, seemingly endless underground complex. There's, walkways above you, walkways below you. There's all sorts of slave workers kind of pushing carts here and there. You see a couple of locals in the distance, and the chains that are binding the the trailer or whatever it actually is. And then go up to the ceiling and then go off into the distance, kind of slanting downwards, like there's some type of anchor farther in the distance for this.
So it's connected to something that's not like a crane or something.
Right.
Gotcha.
There's chains that go up to the ceiling, and then those
Okay.
chains slant down like it's on some sort of like pulley system or something like that.
Gotcha. I was wondering if it was like on a crane hanging above it. I got what you mean now.
There are a couple of cranes around here, but it's not attached to them.
Cool. She looks at the group and says, "This has got to be it, right? We know it when we saw it, and
Yeah.
we're all seeing different things. And how the fuck are we supposed to get this out?"
Anyone see any control panel near us that seems close enough to be controlling those chains?
Well, like I said, the chains that slant downward kind of go off into the distance. So if they are in fact controlled by some type of control panel, it's not near you.
It'd be at the end of those chains.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is the area around or even underneath where these things are big enough for vehicles to go through?
Possibly. I mean, these areas are enormous.
Wonder if they've like hauled it in. If it's one of those things where they haul it in like on a flatbed or something. Might find out down that way.
Yeah, maybe we should follow the chains.
Yeah,
See where it's being anchored.
I do have one more question as we're looking at this. Is the entrance to this building anywhere close to any of the walkways or anything like that, or is it?
Well, you mean the way you came in?
No, the entrance to the trailer as it's dangling up in midair.
No, it's not anywhere near the walkways.
Okay, all right. So just sort of freestanding. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess maybe that way.
I agree.
Yeah, I think they'll follow where the chains lead to find if there's a control panel or if it's anchored somewhere, something like that.
Okay. So you're walking through this area, and Aaron, you notice as you're walking along trying to get to the other end of the chain, you see that there is a small group of slave workers, probably like 4 or 5 of them, that seem to be like looking around a little nervously and talking to each other real quietly. And the minute they see you looking at them, they kind of like slightly break apart. Like they don't want to be caught not working.
Scared of us.
Oh yeah, they're scared of you guys.
Yeah, I think she keeps her head down when she notices that, like, her presence is scaring them. She doesn't make eye contact with them and like makes herself as like unassuming as possible. She doesn't want to scare these people because this isn't really her place.
Okay. So you pass by the group of workers, and you pass by another 2 or 3 workers, and you pass by one of the locals who kind of just gives you the head nod of, yeah, hey, you belong here. And you go across this very narrow metal walkway that has no railings on it, and it goes over one of the flame pits. Not so close that you'd get damaged, but if you fell off this thing, you'd go straight in. And Archie's kind of muttering the whole way about how this is a stupid idea. This is a stupid idea. We're all going to get killed. And you finally make it to the other side, and you see that the ends of the chain come down to this enormous piece of machinery that you suspect is really just to raise and lower whatever that thing is. And it has a number of large metal levers and switches on the side of it. None of them labeled.
Can I go up and investigate them with my mechanics skill? See if I can sort of figure out, get a general sense of what they might be for.
Sure. Why don't we have you draw a card for that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Draw me a card.
I'm not nervous at all.
6 of Cups.
6 of Cups. Okay, so you're kind of looking at it and you're like, okay, none of these switches probably mean anything, but I'm not really sure about the levers. And as Aaron is looking at it, Stan, you notice one of the locals kind of notices you by the machine and starts walking your way.
Oh, great.
Flex on him.
I'm gonna let's see. I'm gonna nudge Serana, so that to alert her to the person walking our way.
I'm gonna turn, kind of just so the rest of the group is like behind me. I'm gonna step forward, and as the person comes closer, I'm just gonna say, in like a kind of a deepish voice, "Can I help you?"
Yeah, just wondering. I ain't seen you guys around the machine before. What you doing here?
Is he kind of like an underling?
No, he's a local. He's definitely, the black suit, dressed like you guys are.
I'm gonna turn and say, we're in the counting room we're in is it the wheels?
It's the wands.
The wands.
The wands. Was the head of security?
That was, what was her name? Romanov. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna use my deception sir and say, we're just on a routine check from Romanov.
Okay, draw a card for your deception.
Come on, don't fail me now. 1. Come on, baby. Yes.
Oh, okay. You drop that name, and the guy kind of hesitates for a second, and then just kind of nods. He says, "Okay, all right, just don't mess around too much around here. People are on edge."
I'm just gonna lead in, since he knows that we're on the level, and say, what's been going on? We've been up top for a while.
I don't know, there's that weird glowing fiery thing that showed up, and now everyone's on edge. Security's getting tighter. Everyone's looking for something to break,
I hear that, buddy, I hear that.
Well, I won't keep you.
Have a good one.
And he kind of chuckles at that. He says, "Yeah, good one." And he walks off.
Have an evil one.
Meanwhile, Aaron, you've been kind of fumbling around checking the levers and such, and you think that you've figured out which lever will either raise or lower that building.
Yeah, she's going to push the one to lower, because there was something for it to land on, right?
Well, I mean, an open space.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She's going to push that lever for it to
Okay.
the one she thinks to lower it.
So with
right now, someone happens to be standing there.
crunch.
Sorry, go ahead.
With all your might, you push the lever, and right as you're doing so, all of you hear in the distance a couple of gunshots. And you see the big structure start lowering down. And if any of you look towards where the gunshots are, you'll see that the workers that you ignored before were busy knocking out one of the locals and making a break for it, and now they're being gunned down.
Nice. Drop that shit.
Dear.
Let's use that.
So
Yeah, I think when we see that, Aaron just says, I think this is our chance. We need to get back to the
Oh hell.
container.
Okay.
So
How the hell
you
are we gonna move
hightail it
Alright.
back towards the container.
Because I haven't I've been looking around for like trucks or anything to move, and I assume I haven't seen any vehicles anywhere.
You've seen some cranes, but no vehicles.
Yeah.
No.
Like
I mean,
Um,
I guess that it is a trailer. We're just gonna drive it out.
Well, it isn't attached to any sort of vehicle.
It's just the container.
just
Like
the
it would be
container.
on the truck or something.
Oh, when
Right.
it's on the truck, it's called an RV, right? When it's
sort
like,
of.
yeah. It's,
So you rush back over the metal, the very narrow metal bridge, and Archie once again is muttering under his breath, "This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. I don't want to fucking go in there." But yeah, the workers getting maliciously gunned down,
that's true.
including the fact that of the 5, the last one on his knees begging for mercy, and they actually take their time killing him.
Oh,
But but you've made it. The trailer, or however you see it, is there, and the door is, you're essentially facing the door to it.
should we go in one at a time or all together? Should we go in at all?
is Archie still
see anything else
freaking
to do.
out?
Archie is very visibly nervous about going in.
I'm gonna
He's
turn
like-
and ask, like, what do you see? What's going on?
It looks like a place where some bad shit happened.
I hear that, buddy. I hear that.
Well, bad shit happened in this place as I see it every night. I'm just gonna go ahead and try to open the door.
Okay, it opens.
I'm gonna step in.
Okay. Is everyone else stepping in or just Stan?
I'm stepping in. I'll go in right off the stand.
Okay.
Well, I follow.
Oh.
Aaron, you gonna go into that house? That house when you were 10?
I
Okay.
guess so.
Okay. So you all walk in. Now, what is inside this trailer? First of all, the dimensions don't look the same as the outside.
Got a TARDIS situation.
Yeah, not like hugely bigger, but somewhat bigger on the inside. What this place looks like is like a very high-end jewelry store. And there are display cases all along the walls. And starting on the right is a display case full of $200 chips. And then there's a case of $500 chips. And then there's a case of $1,000 chips. And a case of $2,000 chips. and a case that you suspect is probably $5,000 chips. And then there's the last case. The last case has one single chip in it. That last chip is unfathomably black. It's like Vanta Black Plus. And it's a little bigger than the other chips. And
How
it,
big?
yes?
How big? Like
Like
still fits in
maybe
the palm of your hand?
Yeah, about that.
Thank you.
And it is not marked with a denomination.
That's it, isn't it? That's what we got to get.
Yeah, I think so.
It's in a glass case, you said?
Yeah, all of them are in glass cases, glass display cases.
Aaron's going to walk up to it and not touch anything. Just look around and see if is there like a lock on it? Does it look like it's
There's a latch.
a latch?
Mm-hmm.
Do we just take it?
Well, I think that when we do, there's probably going to be an alarm, so we're going to have to book it as soon as we do.
Does is there anything attached to the case or inside? Like if we give a little feely down, sensor perhaps. Heist mode initiated.
Do you have any? Well, let's have you draw a card. Do you have any specific skills for this?
Ooh, let me think. I think the only person who could do this actually would be Aaron, with some electronic skills, I guess. Since mine are all very fighting based.
Yeah, unless anyone wishes to flash back to some thievery,
Right.
which is possible.
I guess you know what? I might use up my flashback for that.
Would you like the ability to have thievery?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give you a flashback.
Like an infiltrator specialist. You know,
Because
Stan, you are giving.
Well,
Rana a flashback.
well, remember, once none of us have done this yet, but once per session, you can give, in addition to the one you get for yourself, you can give someone else a flashback.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think that Sarana, this is something shortly after you this is going to be terrible. Shortly after you I think we see you going in essentially to a sort of going in quietly, opening a safe in the location where this takes place, in and around the place that we've seen flashbacks with you previously. And you're sort of going in very quietly, slipping in, and you're opening a safe and taking out some documents. You don't actually know the combination, it seems, but you're figuring it out by touch. You sort of disarm the security system and you pull it out. And then I think we briefly flash forward after the deed, the other deed that you did while you were here.
Very good.
And that I think we saw in a previous flashback. But yeah, sort of as you're sort of coming, you run to a vehicle where Stan is picking you up. This is afterward, and he will drive you. He drives you quietly, without saying a word, to a drop-off point, which is near a bus stop, sort of the middle of the night. And He's just looking ahead, and the one thing he says to you is and he's like, you got it, and you sort of indicate that yes, you did. It's like, okay, go ahead and make your drop off. Listen. And this is sort of as you're getting out of the car, he'll say, listen, I think it'd be a good idea if you don't come home for a few days. We'll talk about this later. We gotta go. And you get out of the car, and he peels off and drives away.
So you have that little flashback, and you kind of think about
You gained thievery.
your safe cracking skills, and you start to look at the various display cases. Go ahead and draw a card.
Ooh. Come on, Rogue, don't fail me now. Here we go, and
10 of Pentacles. Okay. So, you make a kind of thorough sweep of each of the display cases that is full of chips, and none of them appear to have any sort of security other than just a simple latch.
simple latch. Okay.
I say when Serana gets it out, we give it to her and let her run ahead.
That's fair.
All right.
Archie.
I guess I'll.
Should
I'll
we
slowly,
just?
as soon as I open the undo the latch, just want to take it very slowly.
Okay.
So as soon as we open the latch, sounds clear. Nothing happening.
No.
And I guess I'm gonna take the take the ship in my hand.
Okay.
How does it feel?
Okay. It feels a little heavier than you'd think it would, but there's a very definite spiritual weight to it. Like if you picked up a silver dollar and realized it was made of plutonium.
Oh.
Yeah, this is concentrated bad, is this chip. Archie kind of looks to Stan and says, we gonna take any of the rest of this? I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna grab a few 5,000s if nothing else.
we need a mill to get out.
Yeah.
I mean, even for just one of us.
Yeah. So I mean, if that's a mill, then I mean, we'd need 200 of the ones in there, and he says, pointing to the 5,000 case.
Yeah, Erin's lining her pockets with the most expensive ones.
Okay, so just open all the rest of the cases and start putting in pockets. You realize that there's a lot more here than could fit in just pockets.
Yeah.
But
she's not taking a lot because she doesn't want to bog down and escape.
Okay.
She's taking enough just to line her pockets a little bit and to make it look like she's supposed to be here.
Okay, so you all kind of fill your pockets. Serana, you've got the black chip. Are you also filling your pockets, or are you just holding onto that?
I'll grab maybe just a couple of the 500,000 ones,
5,000 ones. Yeah. Okay.
And I still have the map of Vegas in my inner pocket. So what I'm going to do is open that map, put just line the chips up in it, including the black one, fold it over and put it on the inside pocket.
Okay.
And pat it down, just little jog, make sure that I'm not jingling as I walk and stuff. That's the most important thing. No jingle when you walk.
Yes.
Very important. Very important.
And
I think Erin steps out.
In that black case as well, though, I'm gonna put the extra earplugs I have, the little packet. I'm gonna put those back in the case where the big chip was, and then close.
Okay.
Put the latch back, make it look like no one's in this ditch.
So, as you're latching it up, Erin steps out of the room, and all of the sudden, alarms start going off all throughout the complex.
Damn it!
Oh, there it is.
Run, bitch!
She turns around and her eyes are wide. And she looks at Serana and she says, "Go, get out of here."
All right, Serana's gonna hit the ground running. and
Okay.
avoiding the main clutch, just kind of using the machines, dodging and weaving, make it look like I was not the one. Like
Okay.
kind of changing, so running from where we are to the exit, kind of dotting and chase, so I look like I'm coming from this direction when I'm coming to the exit, not this direction.
Okay. So, Aaron and Stan, what are you doing?
So I'm trying to basically heading to the door, and I'm trying to sort of I'm gonna sort of partially coming out with Aaron, and hopefully Archie will be able to develop. But I'm gonna try to find. I'm gonna do this a little more stealthily, possibly,
okay.
or I'm gonna dodge from thing to thing, behind things. Yes. I'm gonna try to bring Aaron with me, but
yeah, Aaron's sticking with Archie and Stan.
Okay.
I think in Aaron's mind, as long as we can get Serana out, that whatever distraction that guy was supposed to pull, that as long as we can just slowly make it out, that maybe we can fall into that distraction and we can get out as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the entire place is just loud, blaring chaos right now. Both Stan and Serana, I'd like you to draw cards, please.
Yay!
There isn't a help mechanic in this game, is there?
Not really.
Not really.
God
no.
damn.
Die or don't die.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
The health mechanic is don't die.
No, I mean help, not help,
Yeah.
not health.
No.
Oh, help.
There isn't a help mechanic.
There is something, but it's I can't remember clearly right this second. There's
Besides,
sort of
it's hard to it's hard to help someone be stealthy.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. The only thing I could figure out is that Aaron was also trying to be stealthy, you know, not drawing attention to herself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally get that.
Okay, so Serana, draw a card, and Stan, draw a card, please.
I've got my chip, my card. I guess
Okay.
I'll.
Go ahead and flip it.
Woo!
10 of swords, okay.
10 of swords, okay.
And here we go.
And
Death.
Oh,
oddly, that is Archie's signifier, so assume he
Nice.
has a flashback right now.
God bless Archie.
So here's what happens. Aaron and Stan and Archie are kind of making a roundabout, trying to keep out of the way, stealthy move towards the way you guys came in. Serana, on the other hand, is just kind of leaping off of this machine and kind of swinging on this chain. And for a moment, just a brief moment, the chain that she's kind of holding on to, like, goes a little short of where she wanted to land. And she swings backward and she realizes she's swinging over this immense fire pit, but she manages to grab another chain and use her momentum to get to the other side. She drops down for a moment. She's like almost falls backwards, but manages to keep her balance, and she darts ahead again, and she leaps off the side of one of the walkways onto another walkway, and she can see the way you guys came in, and she can see the massive steel plate that drops down in front of it and seals the exit.
I guess I'm stopping back and then hitting a low where I'm like ducking behind a machine.
Okay, so Aaron and Stan and Archie are coming around this one long walkway, and they too see it slam down, but you're not sure if Serana made it out or not.
Are there any panels or anything beside it on the side of the door, like a keypad or something?
You can't see from where you are right now, no.
What about me? How much can I, are there any armed guards in the present? Like,
armed guards, yes, quite a few of them, because a bunch of the workers tried to get out when the alarms happened, and right now there's pretty much a kill squad at the door who's just shooting anyone who comes near it.
Lovely. Same guys in suits though. They're just locals,
Yeah.
aren't they?
What?
Are they locals with guns, or are
Yeah,
they?
they're guys in suits, locals with guns.
Alright, I guess from one hidden location, I'm gonna like one of those 5,000 chips. I'm just gonna like toss it towards their location and then quickly go to like a different zone. Like,
Okay. Draw me another card, please.
come on now.
Are you like trying to incite a riot in the tourists?
Hey, we don't know what's gonna happen. I just wanna.
So much slaughter.
Yeah.
Now, come on, cards, don't do me day. High Priestess, very good.
Very nice. So you chuck a $5,000 chip over there, and like, you have definitely caused a distraction. You can definitely get the hell away from where you are without being noticed. Is that what you're trying to do? You're trying to get out of there?
So like,
Okay, yeah.
So like, what I was imagining is that I can see all of them. Steel door.
Yeah.
So I'm like over here, throw a coin, then run around, kind of like where I'm hiding over here instead.
Okay.
A bit closer to the door.
So you toss the chip, and like there are a couple of workers who are still kind of like hiding near the door, trying to see if there's like some chance, and one of them just runs out for the chip and dives at it. One of the security guys stomps on his hand and just puts 2 bullets in his head, so he turns into chips, and the security guy just scoops up the entire lot of them and points at one of the workers and says, "Get this to the fucking vat right now before I aerate your skull." And one of the workers just kind of timidly walks up and takes the chips and runs off with them. Meanwhile, you have circled around and you can see where your companions are hiding. They're kind of ducked behind a bunch of carts.
Nice.
Aaron is like, just like, how are we gonna? Should we move closer? There's no way we're gonna get out of this. We saw no other exits, right?
Well, no, but you haven't been around the entire place. I mean, this place is vast.
That's true.
What's the highest structure to me?
A higher structure to you?
Yeah, so I can get
there's a walkway a little ways above you. You can climb on some machinery. There's a crane not that far away.
All right, I'm gonna take to the skies.
I'm wondering if a crane could move.
Wait,
sorry, go ahead.
Can cranes move?
Well, no, I'm saying. Well, yeah, I was wondering if one of the cranes might be able to move the metal plate that's in place to get it. Granted, I don't know that we'd have time.
It would require a lot of hooking up of crane to thing.
Yeah.
Archie says, "What about the freight elevators?" That guy said the freight elevators were still working.
That's right, he did, didn't he? You got to find those things. Where were they shipping that stuff? Where were they shipping that stuff out? Do you remember? I know we can try to follow where that's going and see if we can get out that way.
I guess from a do I need to draw to climb one of the structures?
No. You can climb up to a higher walkway.
Yeah, I'm a climby boy. I climb up to the top of the structures and kind of jumping from walkway, trying to avoid sight, but kind of looking above. From above, what can I see where the freight elevators are?
You see further into this cavern complex, and you see that maybe you kind of underestimated how many people were down here, because it looks like there are now like roving groups of the locals in black suits, just going around, guns drawn. They're pretty obviously looking for you guys, or whoever just robbed the place is who they're looking for.
I'm gonna move where the chips are. So the $5,000 chips I have left, I'm gonna transfer them to my shoe instead.
Okay.
And the black chip, I'm just gonna put it down into the bra. It's just there now. It's safe.
Other group, what are you guys doing? You can, the alarms are blaring. You're pretty well hidden.
We can't wait for her. We've got to get to those elevators.
All right. Well, hopefully she'll be around. I just start looking for the way to the freight elevators. Possibly taking a hint from where it was they were shipping those tables and chairs and crap.
Okay. So you start moving around, and Sarana, you can see from above. You can see the rest of your group kind of trying to stealth around the area.
I think I'm gonna give Erin a flashback.
Okay. Tell us about that flashback.
So just before I do, I'm gonna kind of from above. I'm gonna kind of make a low kind of whistling noise.
Uh-huh.
And as Erin hears it, it invokes a flashback.
Okay.
Erin, the flashback. So Erin is standing outside her car. In the car is Stan and my trainer, previously. And you're all kind of standing around and wondering like what's going on. You all seem really tense. Erin's just pacing back and forth, and she's saying, you're saying she'll be here. Just don't worry. We know what to do. And all of a sudden, Erin, you hear a noise, and it's like a low whistling and like 3 short tones, and then kind of a song tone, almost like a songbird. But 3 short blasts, and kind of 1 long. And you realize you're able to know that that's Sarana sounding you off. You say, quickly drive to the west side of the building, or the south side of the building. You all jump in the car, drive round, and just as you drive round, Darcy jumps down from the roof, Sarana jumps down from the roof.
That would have been weird.
And on her back, she's got like a huge duffel. And she jumps into the car and she's just go, 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 and you guys drive off. A seemingly clean escape. Erin has, the skill that you gain is kind of communication skills. So Morse code, kind of thieves' tongue, if you will. But your coding is kind of like in your blood almost.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. So what are you trying to communicate to her, Sarana, now that she knows how to interpret these things?
So I'll give her kind of 2 long kind of bursts of whistles, and to her she interprets that as eyes from above, which means that I'm watching. I'm safe and I'm just watching from above.
Erin hears that and looks up, and I think sort of gets a glance on where Sarana is, and taps Stan on the shoulder and like points up, and Erin's up there. She's okay.
Spider-Man.
I mean, Sarana's up there. She's okay. And she whistles back, I think like a very quick, high-pitched whistle that's meant to be like follow us or follow me.
From above, I'm guessing I should be able to see where exactly if the guards are coming towards them or not. So
Okay.
I should be able to guide you guys,
Okay.
with
Okay.
low, either like basically west, north, east, south, because it's not advanced communication. It's just short.
Right.
Direct.
Yeah, they probably had their own like tones and whistles to know which way was going. Yeah.
And it's a little difficult because of the blarings of the sirens and the screamings of the souls and the fact that you're wearing earplugs. But you are practiced enough that only, you kind of have to repeat yourself every once in a while, but you're kind of guiding them through at least where you can see, and you're kind of trying to keep up with them above them. And you see, there's a bunch of guards over here, there's a bunch of guards over there, and you see coming towards them not in a way that would indicate they've seen them yet, but coming their direction is a bunch of guards along with Romanov.
Okay, I'm gonna give the little blast and make sure that they stay kind of basically east of Romanov, around machinery, always staying.
Okay. So as you're kind of going around Romanov, I'm going to have Stan actually draw against me because Romanov isn't that easy to hide from.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. I am going to flip this card over now, and we shall see what it says.
Okay.
It is a 6.
Let's see what I get. Well, how appropriate.
Ah, interesting. Okay. That's
So-
wonderful. That's great. That's great.
Oh my god.
So, you hear the whistle and you try to dart to the east a little. The problem is that the machinery that you're kind of trying to get through is a little too tricky for you. You end up like snagging yourself on a piece of machinery, and Romanov comes around the side, sees you. All her people draw guns, and she says, you better just give up now. It's going to be a lot. No, she says, you better give up now. We'll end it for you real quick.
What's in there? What's around them? Are they near the vats where they put chips in?
Yeah.
What's the odds that from above I could push one of the vats onto Romanov and her people?
Pretty slim. I'd allow you to draw a card for it, but these are huge vats.
What about not fully push over? It's just enough to tilt it so a little bit falls out on top. Or not.
Again, it's an easier difficulty, but I'm still going to have you draw a card for it.
Of course.
And, so you know, actually, hold on. Stan, I need you to draw another card.
Okay.
And depending on what you get, I will explain why.
All right. That is a 2 of cups.
So the reason I had you draw twice is because something I had forgotten up until now. Remember how I said you felt more real and more powerful?
Yeah.
It means in a draw, you will always get a wild card.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit.
This is good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, that also tells you a little about what the locals can do.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
This is true. This is true.
So Serana, if you want to, you can try to tip it over. You'll draw 2 cards.
Okay, alright.
And I don't think you have any skills that pertain to this.
The only skills I could think I have are... Well, we've got deception. Nope, just deception and parkour.
Yeah, I don't think...
And then just, pure assassin ability.
This isn't really an assassin thing.
Yeah, this is straight up, I guess, if it has a control or kind of like I guess it would have those big kind of cogs that you need to turn to just get it to tilt a little bit.
Actually, they generally don't tip. They have a tap at the bottom. So what you're doing is you're kind of breaking the the bits that hold the vat up. So,
just for reference, what is the tap facing Romanov? Is that on it?
You know what? Roll a d6 for me in roll 20. If you get a 1 to 3, we'll say yes.
Okay. Ooh. How do I? Okay. I know. Just a d6.
Yeah, just a d6. 1 to 3. It's facing her. Okay. Yep.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yep. The tap is in her direction.
So where the tap meets is generally kind of a weakish area. So my thought process is, if I knock that tap off, hot things come splaying out.
Yeah.
All right, then let's do it. Drawing 2 cards.
Okay, draw 2 cards.
Ooh. Okay.
Can I help you with this idea? I think this would be badass and cool. Is if you, because this is a tall vat, right?
Yeah.
James. So what if you jump down superhero style onto that tap, and that's how you're breaking it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
So
that's kind of what I assumed she
Okay,
was doing.
good.
Yeah,
Because you're sort of,
I'm
not
kidding.
only are you
That
helping
shit
us,
off.
but you're rejoining us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm kicking that shit off.
So let's see if either of those cards make that happen.
Okay, I've got 2 that I'm filling out. Alright, first up, my boy on the left.
Oh, the Hangman.
The
The
Hangman.
Six of Swords. Okay, so you don't have any specific skill with it. So a Major Arcana is not an automatic success.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to say is you drop down and you hit the tap, and the stuff sprays out over Romanov and her guards and you.
Oh crap!
Your left arm is covered in this burning, molten hot liquid. You are in an exceeding amount of pain, but the immediate threat has stopped. The guards and Romanov are either dead or falling back.
Sorry, I was muted. Aaron's going to see this and immediately grab Serana by the back collar of the jacket, yank it off of her. So she's
Okay.
at least pulling the jacket off where the most
Okay.
of the stuff would have got. She's still gonna burn, of course. It would have went,
Yeah.
but at least the majority of it is off of her. She's gonna toss the jacket aside and just grab her hand and go, "Let's go, we gotta go."
And
And start
Serana, you
running.
are in screaming amounts of pain right now.
I'm vibing. For just for real time, I'm just gonna say it's this hand. I got burned again.
Oh jeez.
I am all too familiar. I'm just gonna, adrenaline kicks in. You're like,
Okay.
it's bad. I'm running. I'm
Yeah.
just hit the
Okay.
car.
So the screams that are happening and just the gunshots and the screams, you can tell are drawing more people to where you were, and you are just running like hell as hard as you can, no pun intended. And you're running and running, and you hear like people, locals, like yelling after you. They have some idea of where you've gone, not probably an entire idea, but some idea. And I assume at this point you're still trying to sort of keep yourself concealed while you're trying to escape.
Yeah, at least somewhat. Yeah.
So at one point, you're running towards this one sort of crossroads, and you stop abruptly as you see a bunch of guards kind of run across where you would have just ended up. They don't see you, they keep running, and you've ducked behind a bunch of like crates. And Aaron, As you're all ducked behind these crates, you notice on the floor there's like everything up until now has just been either metal or dusty stone that you've been running across. But where you're kneeling right now behind these crates, you see like little bits of mosaic. They're kind of covered in dirt, but the ground here is different. There's some type of mosaic covered in dirt here.
Does it seem to be a path or just like a general area?
You kind of wipe away some of the dirt.
Yeah.
And you see it looks like hold on a minute. Let me grab the description. You see what looks like a mosaic of like gods and goddesses, like Roman style gods and goddesses kind of cavorting around. And it looks like the mosaic kind of leads under the wall that you're next to. As you are kind of brushing the dirt away and the rest of you are kind of trying to figure out where you're going next, suddenly there is this earth-shattering boom throughout the entire cavern, and everything starts shaking.
That's a problem.
I'm going to trigger a flashback.
Okay.
Hearing that boom, I think she thinks of this time when she was with her father and they were driving in a bad storm and a bridge collapsed that they were on underneath them. And she can remember first she remembers the pain of being in a car crash. It knocked the breath out of her. It hurt her, that sort of thing. And then she remembers the fear and the hurry to help save her father. And she remembers using all of her strength to dig him out of the rubble that he was thrown from the vehicle that he was covered in when this bridge continued to collapse. And she remembers getting him out, getting the rubble off of him, and seeing him there and rescuing him using this feat of strength that she wasn't really sure she had. And I want to give myself the strength skill.
Okay.
And I'm going to, as I hear this loud boom, sort of use it as everything starts to shake it and try to kick in this wall where this path goes.
Okay. So, Aaron, showing a level of strength that heretofore you did not know she had, starts kicking out, and you realize that this wall, unlike all the other kind of walls that are just rock, this looks like it was bricked up. And she starts smashing some of the bricks out, and you can see that the mosaic goes that direction. And there's another earth-shattering boom! And you see in the distance one of the cranes fall over, and there's, the alarm is still going off, and there's the screaming of souls, and now there's just this boom happening every few moments. And as you start breaking through the wall, that is where we will take our first break.
Yay! Oh, jeez.
Oh my god.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and go on break now. Hopefully we're going to not blow up when we get back. We will see you all shortly. Welcome to the break. Today I've got Simon here with me. Hello. Over there. There we go. I can't point in the right direction. To talk to us about stuff going on in Wandering DM. Hey. So tell me, what manner of shows have you got on your channel?
So many. Right now, as of this recording, we started this week a new mini campaign of Legacy: Life Among the Ruins. It's a PBTA game about rebuilding civilization after the apocalypse. I wanted something hopeful after everything that's been happening outside at the moment. So we take this destroyed world. Actually, the players chose what the end of the world event was, and it's kaijus. So it's a world that's been destroyed. Think like Pacific Rim, but they lost.
Yeah.
And what happens after? Then on Tuesdays, we have an ongoing Witcher series called Witcher Legacy. It's made in collaboration with Greg from Tales from the Grim. We're basically playing in the same world with the same background events, and the characters meet one another across channels, if you will, over the course of the campaign. And then on Thursdays, right now we are doing a Dragon Age campaign, DM'd by Cypher of Tyr. It's a very fun campaign. I had never played, I played the RPG, the computer game, Dragon Age, but not the tabletop RPG. So it's really fun to discover the system at the same time. And we are, scoop, beginning in May, going to start an anime game.
Ooh.
Called The Sisterhood of the Magical Sword. And I can't wait to... The characters have been made 2 months ago. So I can't wait for it to start. And then on Friday is our Talsorian-sponsored game called Cyberpunk Red. I didn't find a proper title for it, but it is basically a sneak preview of the new edition of Cyberpunk. We're playing it right now with the Jumpstart Kit rules, and it introduces the characters and the viewers to the world of Night City in the year 2045. Then on Saturday, I cannot say at the moment, since we're going to have our finale of Vampire this very weekend. And after that, I'm taking a break of streaming on Saturdays, but I will be back in a few weeks as of this recording with something new.
Cool, awesome. And so by the time folks see this, there will be a new thing out. But I have occasionally looked in a little bit on your vampire campaign, and it's been very cool. Is that that's the one that Dee is running, right?
Yeah, Deirdre's running it. She's been my Saturday GM for a while now. It started with a Call of Cthulhu campaign, and then we moved on to Vampire the Masquerade, and then we'll see what happens going forward.
Excellent. Well, it's neat to see sort of these things in transition. Legacy is always a game that I've wanted to kind of sink my teeth into, and I might actually be doing at some point later on. I generally, as folks who watch this channel know, I do usually every other month is a Powered by the Apocalypse game, and so it may come up at some point. But I did look in on some of your session 0 for Legacy, and was just sort of delighted by the kaiju angle, and just very, very interested to see where that goes.
It's a new take on the post-apocalyptic genre, and I have so many ideas of what the world looks like now after it's been trampled by these gargantuous monsters.
It's awesome. I've seen some of your some of Cyberpunk Red. That was one of their players in it, and actually also it turns out in Legacy, Anino also plays games on my channel. So it's I saw a bunch of his. He was coming out with announcements of different things, and just I think it's one of the most hysterical things in the world, the way ways he's been finding to throw commercials in. Different points.
Yes. Yes, he's our hype man for the Found Familiar coffee.
He actually managed to work it into one of our Invisible Sun sessions recently.
Oh, really?
Yes. it was hysterical because it was one of those. It had sort of just happened organically. It was by accident, really, as he was something weird about Invisible Sun is that for some reason every other session, practically every session, is in part about dining in some way, at least in my campaign. There was this one point he was like, I'm just going to just sit and getting a cup of coffee, and I was just at that point I just couldn't resist. So I was like, okay, what brand of coffee are you using? It just sort of tumbled out. But it was just hysterical. It's just been awesome seeing kind of what you've been doing with Cyberpunk Red. Especially you had a lot of you did a lot of preview type videos for that, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm always trying new things with new shows, and I wanted something different to introduce the characters. I felt that at that point, doing like I'm doing with The Witcher, where it's like 1 week, one introduction, it takes a while to get the game going. And I had, a cast of 5 players, I think, for Cyberpunk. So I thought maybe make, and I think it's Jay at Talsorian that suggested it, making vignettes so that we could get them out every day of the week or so, the week before the premiere of the show, to announce who was going to play in it and also drum up engagement for the show. And honestly, I am thinking about doing more of that in the future. It's time consuming, but I don't know, it adds something to the show. So that, and the recaps that Anino does of every episode, that is something that came completely from him, and I am actually very thankful to him for doing that, because it helps, whenever someone shows up and they're like, oh, it's a new show, what was that all about? Well, I can run the recap both, at the start of the episode and then during break, and have people get caught up on what's been happening.
Yeah, it's very cool. It is very cool. Also, we mentioned briefly again the Witcher, your Witcher campaign. How are you handling the crossover aspect of it? If you can give us a little window into that, maybe.
Poorly. I'm trying my best. So basically, I had a chat with Greg prior to the campaign, because I knew that so normally when you want to do something like cross channels, you would like to have the same start date, more or less, so that you don't have these time traveling shenanigans if something happens. But because of scheduling, Greg started his, and because of scheduling, I had to wait for mine. So we sat down before the campaign, we established, okay, what is going to go, what are the events that kicked off the campaign? What do we what's the state of the world? What do we say? Do we take the world as is from the Witcher canon? Do we change a couple things to make sure that we both were on the same wavelength about it? And then we talked about the important NPCs from our side of the screen, not the ones that are, linked, if you will, to a character or a character's backstory, just the ones that have had an impact, like the big bad evil guy or what have you. They have an impact on the game, but they're not tied to a specific character. And then from there, I let him, well, it's not that I let him begin. He started his campaign. And then I took notes every episode to see what would I be allowed to show or not show, because his players haven't gotten to a certain point. I didn't want... Of course, there's not going to be any metagaming between the groups or what have you, but at some point, you also want to make sure that you don't have, people watching one show getting all the scoops or all the spoilers for the other one.
Yeah.
And flashback sequences were very helpful for that, to cement the relationships between certain characters in their past.
Neat. And I understand you've already had a little bit of with characters crossing over, haven't you?
Yes. Well, Yes, myself mostly. As a player, I mean, with back when I was on a show on Off the Table and Scraticus Academy, we played Lady Blackbird, and Kiena had us split into two factions, the Outcasts and the Imperials, with like a shared backstory that connected all of us together. It was a giant trash fire of a mess. It was absolutely delightful. And I encourage everyone to play Lady Blackbird strongly. But the world that Kiena created, I wasn't the second season, but only on the first episode, the wedding of Lady Blackbird. And then my character acted mostly as an NPC because I had IRL stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then on the third season, I came back as a sad boy, where we played pirates a few years before the first season. So it was sort of a prequel with completely different characters. But in the end, there was the reveal that, oh, this specific person that we've, ran after the whole game was in fact the main villain of the first season.
Nice. Very cool.
I think I spoiled everything.
Well, it's that episode's already gone out, so
Yes.
It's very cool. Yeah, I hadn't been thinking of that when I mentioned that. I was thinking of just with respect to Witcher. I think, but no, that was awesome though. That Lady Blackbird setup. I watched a lot of that, and there was a lot of drinking in this campaign.
Yes.
So, a lot of heavy duty liver work, but I was thinking with respect to The Witcher that didn't Dee's character cross over at some point recently and show up on like she's playing in Greg's Witcher campaign, and then she showed up in
she showed up in mine, and then Greg as one of the main NPC, Ezekon, who, spoilers, is dead at the beginning of his show. So his season kicks off with the burial of Ezekon, and so we see him with Gabe, who's a player in my game, and JF, who's a player in Greg's game, 100 years before the events of the game, where they happen to cross paths together. And so we already started seeding a few like connections, but they're all in the past. What I'm eager to see is those that'll happen, in the present.
That's very neat, very neat. So looking forward to that. I always get excited by shows that cross over. So it'll be neat to see where all this goes. Thank you very much for coming and talking to us about all this.
Thank you.
If folks want to find all of this gloriosity online, where should they go?
They can go onto twitch.tv/wanderingdm. Or they can also find me on Twitter at wandering_DM. I post about like all the shows that I'm on, or whenever I need people for shows. I also post that on my timeline.
Excellent. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to throw things back to me or to or our background graphic, more likely, and we will see you later. We have returned, and I believe we are in the process of trying to break through a wall as chaos erupts around us.
Using my powerful legs.
Right.
Very good.
Kick.
So you are kicking through these bricks as all around you, this enormous cavern is just shaking. And every few moments you just hear another boom boom, and like I said, a crane falls over in the distance, and you hear some rocks falling from above that are just like crushing machines, and you hear the screams of people being crushed by rocks, and the entire place, I mean, it was already chaos with the alarms going on, but now it's like chaos plus more chaos. And as you're kicking, you realize something. Each of you starts to realize that feeling that you had of greater solidity and greater strength, that's starting to fade.
Uh-oh.
As a matter of fact, you feel like the suits that you're wearing are a little big on you now. And Aaron has gotten to the point that, like, there's a hole that maybe you could kind of squeeze through and crawl under if you wanted to, but if you wanted to move more bricks, you'd probably need something to move them with.
Around, do I see something like maybe like a pick or a crowbar? Even that I can widen the tunnel.
Well, you look around a bit and you find that in the crates where you're standing, yes, there are tools, and crowbars are amongst those tools.
All right, I'm gonna grab a picky crowbar in memory of my loving rebar, and just and just start.
Okay.
I guess with my one arm, and I'm just like.
Yeah.
Aaron will continue to kick and try to help help hit the weaker spots that Serana is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Stan, what are you doing?
Keeping a lookout.
Okay, so you see a couple of guards kind of like notice you, and they're starting to run across a walkway your direction, and this huge, like, car-sized boulder falls from the ceiling and just squashes them and breaks through the walkway they were going through. Meanwhile,
oh, never mind.
Aaron and Serana, you manage to crack open enough more of the wall that you can still standing kind of squeeze through.
Aaron is going to immediately. Does she need to crawl, or can she?
No,
she can
you can
she's immediately
stand.
on her feet. She's going through.
Okay, so you get through, and on the other side, it's just a dark hallway. You have no idea where it leads, but it's a hallway, and it looks like almost like a service tunnel, almost.
Just I guess when everyone if everyone can tunnel in, I'm gonna try like stick the crowbar just like above the opening that we're in.
Okay.
Just after everyone goes past, and then if with enough force, it should kind of cave in most of the tunnel.
Okay.
Behind us.
So you're waiting for everyone else to get through, and as Archie is kind of squeezing through, Stan, you see another group of guards definitely get their eye on you and start running your way. And you push through the opening, and Serana, you kind of collapse it. I mean, it's not unpassable, but it'll take the people chasing you a little bit of time to get through.
Aaron, while this is happening, has been pushing down this hallway. She hasn't stopped.
Okay.
This is better than where they were.
Yeah, and you'll notice that this hallway, the floor is mosaic tiles.
That's what she's following.
It's all this. It's like old Roman gods kind of stuff, that kind of pattern. And you're running and you're running and you're running, and you once again hear this sort of boom in the background, and you see back behind you, the guards are clearing out the rubble, and they're starting to chase after you, and it's just pitch dark in here. And you're running and you're running and you're running, and it's hard to even tell how far you've been running and how long you've been running. It just seems like forever. And who's in front? I believe it's Aaron who's in front.
Yeah, Aaron is.
Aaron, in the distance, you see a light. It's a little ways off, but it's at the far end of this hallway.
Yeah, she just hollers out, "We gotta go," and
Okay.
she's hustling.
Okay. Who's in back?
I guess I'm at the very back.
Oh, right. You're in back
Yeah.
because you collapsed the thing.
Yeah.
A bullet ricochets near your head as the guards are now shooting at you guys. But you haul ass as quickly as you can, and you're getting closer and closer to this light, and you suddenly realize that the light is outside. You reach the edge, and Aaron, you just skid to a halt because the hallway just ends in you're midway up in a crevice. It looks like it kind of looks like this hallway would normally have gone on further, but whatever is causing the ground to shake has broken open this crevice where you are. The distance between this end of the hallway and the next end is a good 30 feet. And down below you, like, the crevice goes for hundreds of feet, and down there is just lava. And above you, maybe about 10 to 15 feet, you see the street. Right outside of where you could normally grip, you see that there are, like, what were probably, underground power lines and the like kind of dangling down. But you can hear the guards coming after you, and you are just now on this precipice.
Do the lines look like they're live, like they would shock me if I were to grab them?
Hard to tell. They're not sparking or anything.
Okay, I'm going to look back at Stan and be like, "This is our only way out." And immediately I'm going to jump up and try to grab one of those. I'm going to use my strength and try to grab one of those cords and try to lift myself up.
Okay, draw a card for me. As it is just out of your reach.
Sorry, I have a bad cough and I'm making sure I'm okay. Okay, let's draw this card. Do I still draw two or just one
Nope.
now?
Power is gone.
Four of Cups.
Four of Cups. Okay, so you leap up and you reach as high as you can, and you just don't catch it, and you are starting to plummet.
I'm going to try to grab Aaron.
Okay. Stan, draw me a card.
Oh, God, this is not going to go well. But we'll see. Yeah! 4.
Also a 4. So you managed to grab her, but now you are starting to tumble as well.
With the crowbar, I'm gonna stab the crowbar into the side of the wall and quickly,
Okay.
with my leg, try and grab
Okay.
onto it.
Go draw a card for me.
Oh, my God. It's going to be a tragedy of arrows.
Honestly, I feel that happening for us.
It's going to be lava time.
9 is good. Okay, so you hear the guards coming up behind you, and you are desperately holding on to Aaron and Stan, and you kind of pull them back from the edge.
That went so well.
Now, I will say, Serrano, with your parkour skills, getting that cable is probably easier for you.
Yeah, I have one gun on me, so I'm gonna give that gun to Archie, so he's dual wielding, as he should be, and say, "Fuck, you gotta cover us."
He turns around, he says, "Okay, I'll do what I can."
Okay, with I've torn off. This sleeve is I've torn it off, and I'm using that to kind of bandage the arms, down my arm, so it doesn't get in my way. And I go back as far as possible, launch forward, run, and jump and grab the wire.
Okay. Draw me a card.
Oh, my God.
Come on, you broken arm. Don't fail me now. Ooh, ooh. I feel like I'm gonna fail just because, like, it's in our fashion. Ah.
4.
That is another 4.
I
Now, yes. So at this point, Serana kind of jumps out. Now, with your parkour, I'm going to say that you are now like hanging one arm, dangling from the side. You did manage to grab it, but you don't have the momentum to like haul yourself up right now. Behind you all, you hear Archie fire the gun, and he suddenly like cries out in pain. He's like, "Get out of here! Just get everyone out of here!"
So I'm going to kind of
wait
leap
with
forward. I'm going to try to.
with the pole. Am I able to not using my momentum, but be using my body weight to pull, break it apart from the wall, or break it down from the wall a little bit, so everyone.
That's a possibility. Draw a card.
If I don't have strength, at least give me body weight. What am I, if not thick? Okay, come on, brother. Come on, brother.
Okay,
That's better.
Okay.
Yeah. So you pull down the cable to the point now that Aaron and Stan and theoretically Archie can now just use it to climb up. I assume that's the plan.
Yes, that is the plan.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to if Archie looks wounded, looks like he's been wounded. I'm gonna try to I'm gonna draw my gun and I'm gonna try to help him hold them off while Aaron and Serana are climbing.
While that's happening, I'm going to help push Serana forward and just go, "You need to go back to the hermit. You've got the chip. Go." And I'm still trying to escape, but I'm trying to push Serana forward first.
Essentially, Serana goes up first. Aaron goes up second.
Aaron's going to linger for a moment, yelling at Stan and Archie to come on.
Okay.
If
Stan?
Archie looks wounded, I'm going to try to get him ahead of me, but we'll see.
Okay. So here's the deal. He doesn't look wounded, but he is like crying out in pain.
All right. Okay. If I realize we don't have a second, but I'm going to just sort of look, just because I have some degree of medical knowledge. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with him.
You'd need a longer time.
Okay.
To figure it out.
All right. If he's in pain.
And Archie just goes, go!
Damn it. I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna try to. I want to try and haul him up with me.
Okay.
Aaron will be there with a handout.
Okay, so since you have enough people to try to help you with this, I'm not going to have you draw.
Oh, good.
Especially since you've all gotten so close to just plummeting down and dying recently.
So much death. So much.
So you eventually all kind of scramble to the pavement, and you are, on essentially the strip.
Aaron's going to, for a moment, stop and then look back, and she's going to go back to that pole and just like raging, basically, not go back to that hole and try to tear up any sort of wires and things like they use to get up, and let them fall into the lava so they can't be followed.
Okay. So you break those off so that the guards following you can't climb up.
Yeah.
So there are a few things you all notice pretty immediately. First of all, I was wrong. It's not a 30-foot wide chasm. It's actually about 150 feet wide.
Oh, okay. That's yeah.
Good to know I didn't attempt to jump, because that was my next thought.
Remember to multiply all distances by 5.
So there are a couple things you notice. One is the power is out in Vegas. There's no lights. There's nothing electrical working right now. On the far side of the chasm, you can see the various casinos. You think if you have your geography right, that the silver cloud is actually on your side of the chasm and not all that far away. And you see that, like, all sorts of people are just kind of out walking around, kind of looking confused and a little anxious, and people are trying to shout across the chasm about, oh, maybe we could, like, rig up a catapult or something, and somebody biffs the guy on the back of the head.
Don't work, do they? People
What?
can't be stuck on the slots or anything, can they?
Yeah, I mean, you can't tell. The casinos are across from there, but the casinos are all dark.
Oh, let's move.
I
It's
have
not safe here.
Aaron
I have the map in my shoe. So
Aaron looks at
that
the
should
group
tell us where.
and is like, remember how the guy said that the hermit was going to give us a bigger distraction? I think this was it.
It's a hell of a distraction.
Possibly.
Okay, well, I guess we better get moving.
This couple, a man and a woman, kind of like looks at you guys and they're like, where the hell did you guys come from?
Don't worry about it. We got to go.
Okay.
None of your business, bitch.
Oh, God.
Aaron is going to start heading back toward the silver cloud.
Okay. You hear in the distance, you hear various sounds of, the kind of chaos you'd assume would happen in a situation like this. You hear a couple of cars crashing, you hear plenty of gunfire, and let's see. You're walking the direction you're pretty sure the silver cloud is in, and you pass by various tourists and some locals
taking off the gas masks and earplugs
Yeah.
so we don't look as suspicious.
I threw that shit in the chasm, so.
Okay. This kind of drunken looking guy kind of stumbles over to Stan, and he kind of leans on you drunkenly and says, I hear it's up to 20,000 now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Sort of he'll pat him on the shoulder. Yeah.
I'm gonna turn quickly and say, well, "What's up to 20,000?"
He kind of like turns and almost falls over. I mean, he's completely plastered.
Well, hold it there.
And
Here you go.
he's like, "The reward, 20,000. That's what I heard." And it's at first I heard it was only 10,000, but now I hear it's 20,000.
I'm gonna look him in his eye and like I know he's not steady, but I'm gonna say 20,000 bounty.
Yeah, reward. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Reward for
I'm gonna pat him on his shoulder, give him like a red chip, and say, "Go buy yourself another drink."
Oh, thanks. I think everything's closed, but I'll find something.
Yeah, it's okay. Be careful now, and just basically do this guiding him carefully onto the pavement thing that I have probably done hundreds of times.
Yes, you have. Yeah, you are experienced in working with drunks.
The skill we didn't know we needed.
That's right. And he kind of gestures to another couple of people that are passing by. He says, I heard 20,000. And the three just kind of look at him and shake their heads. And they're like, 20,000? Really? And he says, "Yeah, 20,000. That's what I heard." And one of the guys kind of walks over to him and pats him on the shoulder and says, "Your information's out of date, friend. It's up to $250,000."
I'm gonna upon hearing when I like the bum thing, I'm gonna kind of grab the group and kind of like hustle well with my one arm hustle.
Aaron's been walking. Aaron didn't even stop.
Okay.
Aaron's been going toward the Silver Cloud. She has no interest in hearing about that.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell everyone that we should like transfer everything into your pockets. Like, take your jackets off. We're gonna have to. This is gonna be a completely different.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Yeah, Stan will take his hat out of his pocket and he'll put his hat back on.
Aaron will take her jacket off and sort of bundle it up and throw it into an alley.
I'll transfer chips to any other pocket.
Archie tosses his jacket and then just tosses the shirt too, and just goes bare-chested.
Nice.
I think Aaron untucks her shirts and like undoes a couple of buttons so she looks a little bit more messy.
Okay. So you are still heading towards the Silver Cloud, knowing now that there is a $250,000 bounty on you. And
great.
Yeah.
Love that for us.
Yeah. It's going to open so many doors.
We're heist legends.
Um,
Maybe we should keep to the alleyways on their way there. Huh? Just a thought.
Okay. So you keep to the alley, and you see like there are people who have like broken into buildings and gotten furniture and like are dragging it to the crevice, like they're trying to build some kind of bridge out of furniture. And with that distance, it's never going to happen. But these people are desperate. So,
I wonder if they realize they're building those bridges with basically themselves.
Question.
Oh, boy.
So,
I was real deep, man. Oh, fuck.
So, you see in the distance, maybe like a couple blocks away, is the Silver Cloud, and you recognize that it is right on the edge of the crevice. Like, part of it is actually sticking out into the air. And you hear just rapid gunfire, like a lot of people, or a very fast automatic weapon. People are just shooting at each other. And it
inside or outside?
It seems to be coming from that direction. You'd have to get
from the Silver
closer to see for sure.
Wow. Yeah. I somehow don't relish the idea of walking into a firefight, but maybe we should go back up the fire escape?
I mean, remember, the fire escape stopped at the 3rd floor.
Oh, that's true. Damn it. I will slowly, stealthily try to creep closer and find out.
Okay.
See if I can.
I mean, third floor's nothing to a parkour legend like me. I mean, if it's strong enough, we could rope it, and I could just.
So as you get closer, you see that it is just a bunch of people, probably from the various casinos, that are having a firefight right outside the Silver Cloud. It's huge and messy. It's probably a couple dozen people on either side of this, and they are just, trying to find cover and blasting away at each other.
Wow. I feel like now is not a great time to visit, but...
Is there not a staff entrance or something that we can sneak to?
You don't know. You didn't see one before.
Well, we came out the back last time. We could circle around to the back of the cloud.
True.
Yeah. You can do that.
What are the odds you guys are going to let me drive and run over everyone?
Let's go circle around the back. That sounds like a great idea.
Let's keep a low-key presence right now.
So you start trying to circle around, and suddenly you see one of the casino people. They're not facing you. They like pop up from behind a car and peel off a couple of shots, and all of a sudden they take one right to the chest, and they spin around and they look at you, and it's Rebecca O. And
Shit.
she looks at you and she goes, where the fuck did you guys go? We needed everybody we could get.
Is she bleeding?
Wait,
She's bleeding.
I'm gonna deception. We got caught up with the Picadon.
I'm gonna go up to her and try to.
Straight up lie to her.
I'm gonna go up to her and try to help her with the wound.
Okay. I'll need you to draw a card for medicine. But when you say that you got caught up with the Picadon, Rebecca O goes, "You saw that fucking thing too? Jesus Christ, how did you survive?" She does not say Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. No idea. Knight.
5 years above.
Knight of Swords.
What have you done?
Okay.
Just say it was tearing up. I was like, we just about got away. And I'm just going to, you obviously my arm is visibly burnt. And I said, we barely didn't.
Well, it's not going to bother you anymore, that's for sure. And Stan, you recognize that you can make her die more slowly, but you are not going to be able to save her life.
All right, so I'm going to. I assume she's sort of slumped down a bit, or
yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of like, hey, listen, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry to tell you this. This isn't good. It's not. You're not going to make it. I can let you. I can buy you some more time, but it's up to you.
No, it's all right. I think our guys get through. It'll be all right.
I'm gonna kind of crouch down to the level, and I'm giving Aaron kind of like a warning look, and it's like, what do you mean it's not gonna bother us anymore?
You saw what happened. I mean the chairman. He fought with that fucking thing. Body slammed him right through the ground.
He caused the chasm?
Yeah. The chairman just old school. They were fighting in the street. He just smashed him right through the ground.
We got through, yeah.
Yeah, the guy's got... And she looks over her shoulder, and you hear this low rumbling noise, and the silver cloud collapses in on itself. It's like a controlled demolition. And she smiles a little and says, "That'll teach that fucker."
What did he do?
This is all his fault. He started all this. And her body fades into a pile of chips.
I'm gonna pick up one of the
Rebecca.
chips and then say to it, "I'm sorry we couldn't save you this time."
Aaron's gonna take her gun.
Okay. And as the silver cloud collapses, there's just this wall of dust that blows over all of you. You're now just covered in this fine white dust, and you it's kind of hard to breathe. And
pick up the gas mask and put it back on out of my pocket. I didn't throw it away. I just put it away.
Right. And as you're good. And Aaron, you take the gun, and Serana, you take one of the chips, and Archie takes one of the chips too. And as the dust is starting to billow out and beginning to settle, you hear a voice calling out from the dust, "Hey, I think that's them!" And and you start seeing figures running towards you from the dust.
We are
Guns
right next.
drawn.
We are right next to a car, right?
Yes. Mhm.
I just sort of look over my shoulder and, hey, you think we could get this thing started real quick?
Yeah, I can take care of it. I'm gonna try to hotwire that car.
Okay,
Grab
give me a
the-
card draw.
Just gonna grab a few more chips.
Okay.
Are there any? I guess kind of like there's probably a bunch of, the smoke's clearing up, but there's like a bunch of shit around us, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Is there any kind of those concrete bars like they use to bar off? Or they're not bars. They're kind of like low walls almost. That kind of cut off pavements and stuff that some people would use for cover.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I guess I'd load off a couple rounds just to build up a dust kind of screen, just to buy us some time.
Aaron, with your 3, you are trying to get this car to start, and it is just, you think maybe it took some bullet damage or something like that. It's not starting.
We have to fight our way out of here. Or we have to run.
Archie says, I'd rather run.
I vote for Heel Toe Express.
Then then Aaron's gonna run.
I guess using a gun to whatever. If it's not gonna, I was like, if it's not gonna help us get out of it, it is gonna help us escape. And when we run far enough from it, I'm just gonna load off into the gas canister.
Okay.
Blows up.
We'll say cinematically as you run off, you fire enough into the car that it boom. Actually though, you fire the round that ignites the gas, and it is in fact your first shot. And suddenly you feel a crippling pain throughout your entire body. It is hard to move now.
We can't use the weapons, can we? Or the guns, at least.
Archie kind of nods a little. He says, yeah, that became apparent. Yeah.
Oh, great.
I guess I'm going to toss the weapon then and stick to my good old knuckle dusters. It's a good thing I can kill without a gun.
It's true.
I'm keeping Rebecca's just in case.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that's
you guys run. Actually, you kind of have to help Archie and Serana along because they're both in crippling levels of pain. But eventually, you dart around corners and you creep into alleys and you hide behind dumpsters and there's this sort of montage of you just frantically trying to get away from just anyone who's seeking the bounty right now.
When we settle down in maybe a dark alleyway, kind of behind one of those big old industrial sized garbage can thing, I guess I'm gonna pull the map out from my shoe.
Okay.
And on our side of the chasm, the motel that we left Erin's dad in, is it on our side?
No.
What any kind of abandoned motel or anything on the map, or anything on the map that kind of just that could look like a place we could hold up for a bit?
Sure. I mean, there are a couple of abandoned places. Nate's is on your side of the chasm. Although, of course, Nate isn't around anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are places you could hole up. And while you're looking at the map, it starts to rain. And the rain is just almost caustic.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's not burning through your clothes or anything, but anytime it touches skin, it's just this burning sensation.
I feel as though going for the nearest cover would be a good idea at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm guessing what abandoned warehouse or
Sure,
anything?
sure. You find like a motel that there's literally no one in. Strangely, as you get inside the motel, I mean, literally, like you end up sort of picking the lock to get in, and right as you open the door, there's like this little kind of hum, and you notice that power's coming back on throughout Vegas. The street lights are lighting up. You see the signs of the casinos far in the distance. Things are starting to come back on.
So we want to quickly like get in here. I want to close the door and like deadbolt it if it's got like the bolt
Yeah.
on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we head to maybe like not the top floor, but just below the top floor, and
Okay.
just room. And I need to like I need to take care of my arm anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you go up into one of the rooms that you can feel relatively safe in.
I will take a moment once we get in there to try to look at Serana's arm and try to just look at her and our team to see if we're, try to...
Okay. So, looking at Serana's arm, you can kind of help her out with that. I mean, it's really badly burned. You can make it so it's not going to get infected, though you don't know how infections work down here.
Yeah.
You can make it so she can move it with pain.
Yeah.
But as for the pain that came from firing the guns, you don't have the first clue as to how to do this.
Yeah, so I've got like a towel with, maybe there's cold water, maybe.
Tepid
water.
Mini
That's
bar?
it.
A mini bar. Pull for the mini bar, see if there's any vodka or anything. Just
yeah, there's a couple of tiny bottles.
yeah, enough to work as a disinfectant.
Yeah.
And to aid cleaning, and that will aid healing in itself. So,
Aaron, what are you doing while all of this is going on? Aaron?
Sorry. While all this is going on, I think she is she's been very quiet after hearing about what happened to the Picadon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's just sat down on the edge of the bed with like her elbows on her knees and is sort of leaned over in her thoughts.
Okay. So while you're doing that, and Stan is helping out Serana, like I said, the power is on, and one of the things that is on is the television in the room. Whoever left this room left the TV on, and the sound is not up. But there is a news story going on about the heist at the Wands, and there are crudely drawn pictures of each of you, like mug shots, essentially, artist sketches, not very good ones, up on the screen.
Okay. I'm just sort of looking at, I think as I'm staring and I'm looking at those, I think I'm going to have a flashback.
Okay.
Whilst this is going on. So this is also going to be even more terrible.
Fucking hell.
So Stan has driven back to a house, a place, and is looking very, very sad, very upset. He as he's going in, he is He's basically looking at his he's looking at his keys. He's just opens the door. He goes in. And he goes in and he sees, as he steps in, there's a coffee table in a sort of a living room type area, and on it are some crude drawings. That one of which is still being worked on by a child who was approximately, like, 5 years old. Sitting there also in the in this place is Serrano's friend, trainer / friend, Donnie's wife, possibly, and whom we have never named, and Stan just sort of walks in, and so she's as Serrano's friend is doing it, and she's like, "Oh, you're back. Okay, okay, great. And just Stan just sort of nods, and she says, yeah, and she's standing up. She's like, it's okay. We were just hanging out for a bit. She was showing me your drawings. She was an angel." And Stan steps forward and he shakes his head and he's like, "Oh," and she's like, "Oh no, I'm sorry." And the kid just sort of looks up, and Stan gets down on one knee. He's like, "Hey, how you doing? Mommy's not gonna be around for a little while, okay? I need you to know that. You'll see her again real soon, okay? But we got to work some stuff out. Okay." And she's the girl doesn't really understand fully, but she's worrying. He says, "It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine." And he gives her a hug, and says, "Here, go put one of those drawings up." All right? Yeah. And she picks up the drawings and she starts putting them away. Stan just sort of slumps in a chair, and Serrano's friend comes over and will just sort of is looking down. Is like, "What happened?" And Stan opens his hand, and the ring is in there. And she comes over and she starts to pat his shoulder, and she's like, "I'm so sorry." "It'll be okay." And he's like, and he kind of brushes her hand off, and he says, "We shouldn't do that." And she says, I know you need time." And he just sort of puts his hands to his temples. He's like, "I think what I need is a drink. You want a drink? I'm getting a drink." And he stands up and he walks into the kitchen. Basically, I kind of feel as though the skill that I'm picking up from this is distraction.
Okay.
The ability to distract people from the important things at hand.
That works. That's a good skill.
And when Stan comes out of the flashback, you can tell that he hasn't heard like a single word of what's going on, because I think like one of the last things that he's seen in the flashback is he looks over and he sees on the mantelpiece is a picture of him and Serrana.
Oof.
And he comes back out, and he's just like sort of in shock for a second.
from the mugshot picture, I think I'm actually also gonna have a flashback. And as kind of Serana focuses on that crudely drawn image of her, with her like kind of the long curly hair, she's kind of gonna like drift into this whole flashback, and it's her like looking at her reflection, and on half of the side of her, like her hair is really is like short, and the other side's really long, and she can see that she's like putting like extensions in her hair to make herself look long, or to make it look longer. And she looks down, and there's the gap from her wedding ring, and she thinks about it, and she half of the mirror is actually cracked, as if it's been punched or something, and she turns around and she goes to the desk, and kind of she feels her mouth saying the words, but she's kind of just like hearing them, and she's saying, this is why we don't trust anyone in this game, and she's kind of just muttering, and then her phone rings. The phone ID says it's Erin, and she picks it up, and Erin says, hey, I have a job for us. Soran explains to her it's not the best time right now, and that she won't be hearing from her in a while. And Erin says, you know what happened? She explains that her and Stan have taken a break, possibly officially, and she says he can't handle the work they do anymore. And then she goes on to use some very explicit words describing her ex-trainer, Alexis. And she details seeing her and Stan together, and how she gave him the ring back, and she intends to get away. She looks into the bathroom once more, like looking back in the flashback. She can see like kind of there's hair on the floor. There's some of her cards have been cut up, including a driver's license, credit cards, all that has been cut up and placed and thrown into the sink. She has a bag on her back. She checks everything a final time, and she says, "Time for a new life again." And she torches the place, just as we taught her many times, and leaves. And the flashback wears off, and she's back to just staring at that crudely drawn image of her. The skill she gained is the ability to disguise oneself, tailoring, and the hair skills to match.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Disguise is good.
I think that, well, just sort of as Stan's sort of been coming out of it, he sort of will briefly, he's just going to stand up, and he's going to just turn, and he's going to walk out of the room. He starts hitting, because he for very briefly he will look back, and you'll see this look of terrible pain in his eyes as he looks down at Serana, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take a walk."
As I guess that final time he turns back, like Serana's noticed, he stood up and walked to the door. She's gonna look, and like as she catches his eye and sees that look, she kind of like feels a pang, like, "Oh shit, I think he knows."
And Stan's gonna just head out. Just gonna turn, shaking his head. He's gonna turn. He's gonna head out and take a walk down the corridor. Just try to clear his head.
While this is, Archie kind of watches this interaction and kind of shakes his head, and he says, "Look, can we convene all the chips we got? Maybe see how much we got. Maybe we can get out of here."
Serana kind of like shakes and says, "Yeah, sure, of course," and she'll take the full $500,000 chips, $100 chips out of her shoe, and places them on like a little side table that's in the room.
So you take out the $5,000 chips, you put them
Oh.
on the side.
I also have just 100 chips from the time we were in the casino. Just
Okay.
a mix of red and white.
Are you putting the black chip in there too, or are you keeping that hidden?
I've got the black chip on me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Archie kind of enlists, well, everyone except Stan's aid in counting the chips. And you're counting and counting and counting for a while. And you come out to about 1.7 million in chips. And Archie looks at it and he says, that's enough for one of us to get out of here.
We can play though. We could try to win some more.
We need to win many million more, and we are now wanted people by the casinos.
Yeah, but did you see those mugshots? Come on.
Darcy's now going to pull the chip out and says,
Darcy?
2 people to get out. Oh, sorry, Sarana.
I mean, technically.
So 2 people to get out.
Maybe. And it is at that moment that there is a knock at the door.
Aaron will go over and look through the peephole.
Okay. There are 2 people on the other side. One of them, half of her face a massive scar tissue, is Romanoff. The other person, the Prince of Hell known as Belphegor, Master of the Wands Casino, the Lord of the Gap. He looks like Sammy Davis Jr., and he's grinning like a son of a bitch.
Wait, where do we see them?
On
They're
the
on
other
the
side
other
of
side
the
of the door.
I'm looking through the peephole.
And that is where Act 3 ends.
Nice.
Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
Wait, young Sammy Davis Jr. or old?
I think young. I think if he's gonna choose, he's gonna be young.
Definitely.
I mean, yeah. If you had the option, go with your younger self. I mean, obviously.
Right.
Hey, if I look good when I'm older, I might want to be the old me. I might look
True.
fire.
It's true. It's true.
I mean, you get to pick after you die, then that's how you...
Okay. Well, I mean, if you're an actual
Which phase?
Lord of Hell, I think
Which
you get
evolution do you choose?
This is true. This is true. Man. Oh, wow. I have many thoughts and many feelings.
Same here.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I actually, honestly, and I'm just going to say this even before we even close, is I feel as though if we had to pick one of us, Aaron's the one who stands the best chance of getting out.
Yeah, definitely.
Just basically,
Does have the skills.
he's the one who can gamble. Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Very tense
That was
session.
heavy. That was heavy. Wow. Okay. So that was definitely a thing. James, that was awesome. Thank you so much for taking up the mantle of dealer. It is much appreciated.
Hey, my
Very
pleasure, man. My
spicy.
pleasure.
Oh God. Well, so we're gonna go around and we're going to do our outros as we sort of are coming down from this and figuring all this out. One act left to go, so we are going to and feel free to say where folks can find you and stuff and plug stuff, and then feel free to unload any thoughts you may have about this session. Feel free to take as long as you like. We will start with James.
So, thoughts for this session. I didn't want to start out and break out and say you won't meet Elvis again this session, because I didn't want to, like, rule it out and I didn't want to foreshadow anything. But yes, Act 3 was amazing to run. I will say that the way it is written, it encourages the dealer to be completely awful to his players. I'm really interested in what happens with that black chip and why the hell one of the Lords of Hell found us in an abandoned hotel. I'm scared.
I'm having a meltdown.
But yeah, it was a blast to run. I'm glad I had such good players. As for me, you can find on Facebook, the Bureau of Necromantic Affairs is the sort of landing page for my novels. I have 2 out. I'm working on the 3rd currently. The planned number is currently 7 in the series. Yeah, that's me. Move on, I guess.
Awesome. Sure. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. That was really cool and very, very, very well done. Very well done.
Thank you.
And let us move around to my ex, Darcy.
The best ex you ever had.
I mean, fair. This is that would not be an inaccurate statement.
You can find me everywhere, or as Brit Empress or Brit_Empress on Instagram and Twitter mainly. I am a cosplayer and a writer and a makeup artist, and I lose a bit of myself every time we do this because it gives me great sadness and great joy. But I'm excited to see what happens next. Act 4, guys. Come on.
We're almost there. We're almost at the end. Also, I'm sorry to mount even more pain on top of the pain that had already been stacked up. I feel like we were in this sort of strange Jenga tower of pain at this point, with the way the two of us were doing flashbacks about each other.
It was in flashbacks and like, oh, you're gonna make me feel things? Well, how about I make you feel things? It's like an Uno of pain.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Oh God, so good, so good. So finally, let's move over to Katie. How you doing?
Hi, I'm Katie. You can find me on the internet everywhere at KatieFace. Tonight you can find me over on off_the_table on Twitch with Tuesdays with Katie and Summer, where we play 2-player games. We're going to be playing my game tonight that I wrote, a Descended from the Queen game called Coda. I'm very nervous about it. I am just a nervous girl about it. But I'll also be there through the week tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, playing other games. On Sundays, you can find me on Salty Sweet Games playing The Witcher. It's like The Witcher, but we're all queer disasters. It's great.
Oh
We're at the beginning of a Nilfgaardian invasion in this town, so our sorceress is in a lot of trouble. If you know anything about The Witcher, which I don't. This is just what I know by what I've been told. Yeah, that's where you can find me, and anything I do, I post on Twitter. So yeah, thanks for having me. This was great. I loved this act, James. It was wonderful to be a part of, and I can't wait to see what Act 4 brings.
Oh yes. Act 4 is going to be a heck of a thing. I don't know precisely what it is, but I'm going to, because when we hit Act 4, it's going to cycle back around to me. So I have a feeling it's going to be dark.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So let us prepare ourselves for that, and I've got a lot of reading to do this week. This is what I like about this story is just what we've been able to make of it, more than anything, just with these characters. It's been so awesome, and I just cannot wait to see how it finishes up. But once again, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and some of my fiction and games I've been working on, along with links to game signups and applications to join our Discord. So tonight, a little later tonight, we are continuing our short campaign of Monster of the Week. I actually prepared some things this time, so hopefully we'll see how things go. Yeah, I made it. I actually made some. I didn't go to bed till 5, but I actually made it. So we'll see how things go. I've been writing custom moves somehow for the first time ever. I don't understand how it just all started tumbling out as I was working on it last night, but there it is. So we'll see if we see any of those. Then on Wednesday nights, we have our Masks campaign run by our guest GM Molthulu. Hopefully, there's some real-life stuff going on, so we've had to be on hiatus for a bit. Hopefully, we'll be able to come back very soon. I don't know yet if that's going to be tomorrow, but we'll find out soon, hopefully. On Thursday nights, we now have just started our new short campaign of The Sprawl, run by guest MC Brian. I'm very excited about our characters. We had our session 0 last Thursday, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We've been talking about the setting, and I think it's going to be great. On Saturday nights, I run our Invisible Sun campaign, The Edge of Paradox. They made it onto the train, and stuff is actually happening finally. So I'll be looking forward to that. On Sundays, we do one-shots in the afternoons. This coming Sunday, we are going to... we weren't able to do this about a week and a half ago because I was sick, but we're going to take another stab this time at doing Futurity. That is a game by Summer from Off the Table about being oracles. Just kind of predicting each other's future and our own, and the future of the setting that we put it in. And so I'm very much looking forward to playing that finally on the channel here. I've played it once before, but it's finally get to stream it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Then Sunday nights we have our Dark Matter campaign, Ghosts of Saltmaw. That's Ghosts of Saltmarsh in Space, run by our guest GM Alyssa, who's doing an excellent killer job of it. Then on Monday night, I am going to be over on Salty Sweet Games and playing in the premiere of their new D&D 5e campaign, Strange Invasion: Assault on the Barrier Peaks. We've sort of got together our characters, and I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Just seeing our characters and how there's already so much pain in our backgrounds. I think it's going to be glorious. Well, in my background anyway, that's what I do. But anyhow, I think it'll be a lot of fun. And then, of course, back around to Tuesday, 1 week from today, we will have the final act of a Las Vegas. Don't know if it'll be one session or two. I got to read it and see what it's going to be like. But we'll bite into it and see what comes. Oh yes, the Forbidden Act 4.
I don't want to say goodbye.
I know. It's been with us for so long. But I'm looking forward to it. I want to see how this ends. So, sign-ups right now are open for a short campaign coming up next month. May's short campaign that I'm going to be running of Call of Cthulhu. I am actually going to take a stab at running the actual Call of Cthulhu game. I've run Tremulous, I've run Trail of Cthulhu. I have not ever actually run Call of Cthulhu, so I'm going to give it a try. So sign-ups are open for that through Wednesday the 29th. So you've got about a little over a week left if you want to sign up for that. Very soon, I'll probably have sign-ups on there for the first one-shot of May, which I believe is going to be Seco Creek Vigilance Committee, which I think it's a Western about going and hunting down a vigilante. I'm not completely sure. I have to read through it to make certain. But it seemed interesting, so I want to sort of take a spin at it. If you want to sign up for anything, you go down to RPG Sign Up and click on that, or go to jimyesthatjim.com and click on Game Sign Up. As always, beginners are welcome. So, what shall we do when we hit the end card? So, when we hit the end card, I shall send a raid. Let's see. Shall I raid Capricorn Cross? I don't think I've raided him in a while. Could do that. It's playing Pathfinder 2e, it looks like. So we'll go over there and say hi. Feel free to hang on if you are so inclined and say hi to them with us. That again will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will see you next week for our final act. Farewell.
Bye.